All right, welcome to Meet in the Middle. And we got a full house today. We got Shane. Welcome back.
What's up? Thank you.
When's your show in Vegas?
My show in Vegas is October 4th with 105 tickets. I can't believe that many people. There's so much shit to do in Vegas, and 105 people who obviously work in healthcare and pharmacy want to come see us on the weekend, tell pharmacy jokes.
And
So
where is it being held?
it's at the Space in Vegas, so it's off the strip, but Maurice and I have financed it ourselves, and we're in the black on it, so it's pretty cool, you know?
Congrats, man. And you're co-headlining, right? And who's headlining?
Well, Maurice, from RX Comedy, he's one of the other guys I work with online. He's been doing stand-up comedy for about 13 years. So I'm pretty new at this. I've been telling jokes online, but it's way different than actually standing on stage and trying to be funny. Aside from the way I look, you know, that's the one advantage I have. So yeah, I've only been doing it for about a year and a half. So I open for him. In Vegas, I'll do about 25 to 30 minutes.
I went to a show in Palm Springs and Shane was performing and there were like, I don't know, 20 comedians that went up. You were by far the funniest. So I highly recommend. You're in
Thank
Vegas.
you. I appreciate that.
Check them out. Do you have any more tickets left? You sold out.
I think there's 140 total seats available, and so we're close.
How many of those are family and friends?
128.
Mike bought 100 of them.
I did.
It's going to be only my family.
By myself in the middle. Like this.
Don't get any ideas. That'd be pretty funny, though. That'd be a good prank.
And we got Ben Rice. How are you, brother?
Good, man.
I like the haircut.
Good. Thanks.
I like change. Change is good.
Always.
I'm growing out my hair right now, if you guys haven't noticed. So in like 9 months, it'll be like down to here, and I can go like this. And we got Matt Ward back.
Howdy.
Attorney and host of the very successful show, Ox Talks.
It's growing.
It's growing.
Ox Talk.
I wish I had like 10% of your viewership.
10%.
What is Ox Talks? I don't know anything about it.
It's a YouTube channel started about 2 years ago. Just finance and economics and some law stuff, and I try to do a post every day and be consistent and I don't have this studio. I just would do off my phone in my office and I just talk about current stuff. It's mostly economics and finance, and we're getting close to 13,000 subscribers now.
That's
we're
awesome.
growing the channel. So
It's really good.
yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta check it out.
I will.
I'd love to have a couple new subscribers.
Yeah.
And
I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah.
How many shows have you filmed?
A lot, 600-700. Was that 600? I don't know. I forget. Maybe 600.
We're on number 9.
So are these like small like nuggets where you can just get it? Is it just a few minutes long, or are
Yeah,
they
they're
full
not
episodes?
shorts. I try to do 8 to 12, 13 minutes. I try not to go too long. And people still drop off after about 6-7 minutes. In terms of, but that's kind of my sweet spot for me. I can kind of convey something without just rambling on.
Yeah.
I pick a topic or two a day that's more finance or economic, and it's glasses half empty stuff, the crash, and I try not to get too, like doomsday, but it is that like reality, what's going on.
Hey, in modern America, if you can get someone to look at something that has to do with economics for 6 minutes, that's a win.
Yeah.
It is. Like, yeah.
I do try to stay away from, the politics, and because you're not going to convince anybody of anything. So there's so much division now on that. So I do stay away from certain things. And
He's this close to the camera and he's like, the world's going to end. Get your bunker. No.
I should take some notes from you because I get shit every day online for the stuff that I post. I have a big following on Facebook and on Instagram, but because I try to stay a little bit controversial and say how I feel, I end up getting some hate mail, at least on an
that's good. Oh, I still do. The Kirk thing we'll address a little bit. I address just a little bit, like look at the moment, didn't do a video today because of this why, and I just got a couple hundred comments about stuff beating me up. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't care. I said, you guys become a litigator, and that's a blood sport. I don't care about insults on my.
The larger the audience, that's going to happen. You're not gonna make everybody happy. It's better to be your authentic self.
Well, you check it. Let me know. Give me some thoughts, and I always try to improve and get new ideas, and so yeah.
No, I'd love to check it out.
Thanks, sure.
Well, thanks you guys for coming. I know everybody's busy, and taking a couple hours out of your time to come do this is greatly appreciated. I want to discuss the First Amendment, and Shane was famously on our local news over the Kimmel situation. So why don't we play that real quick?
The impacts of the Jimmy Kimmel Live suspension, which will end tonight with his return to most ABC stations, including this one, KESQ. Local comedians say it's a larger conversation about government censorship and free speech.
Now, they say while there is a time where jokes cross the line, they say it's up to the comedian and the audience to decide. News Channel 3's Kendall Flynn is live in studio with what they have to say as Kimmel is set to return again tonight.
Yeah, John and Karen, we know this has been a large conversation here in the Valley and nationwide, especially after Jimmy Kimmel's comments about Charlie Kirk's suspected killer taking him off air. Now, local comedians are discussing if jokes can cross the line and how they think the suspension could impact comedy in the future.
It sets a dangerous precedent. Comedy is about risk. And if you take away the comedian's ability to risk something, you really take away the potential to be funny.
Local comedians say they've been watching all the headlines about the Jimmy Kimmel Live suspension, and they say this infringes on the First Amendment and government censorship.
Free speech is the highest American value for me. Being able to decide what it is that I want to talk about and how I want to express myself.
I think the whole reason people show up to do comedy, especially at an open mic or a show, is so that they can share their ideas with people who want to listen.
Jereminsky and Luna say there is a line to jokes at shows, but they say it's up to the audience.
There are jokes that are going to go too far, for sure. And you run the risk of doing that. But I think that the ratings will take care of that. The audience can laugh, they can boo, they can throw tomatoes at you, but it's the audience and you who get to decide where that line is, not the federal government.
There's definitely an audience for every joke, and if you don't like a certain joke, then it wasn't meant for you.
Jereminsky says this is not about politics. He says no matter who is in office, he would still think the decision to suspend Kimmel is crossing the line.
I would be saying the same thing right now if we had a left-leaning administration in there. I would be doing the same thing because I don't think the government gets to decide where and when you get your news and who you think is funny.
Jereminsky and Luna both say they don't plan to change any of their comedy material after Kimmel's suspension, and within this heated debate, they say comedy is the best medicine.
I believe he deserves to say what he has to say. I'm excited that free speech has won for now.
You guys want to play the segment of Jimmy Kimmel? Because I didn't even know what he said. Sure. Let's play that real quick so we can see the joke.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from.
Couple things. The problem I have with the whole Jimmy Kimmel is that the entire narrative from the news was this is government censorship. And in reality, no one from the White House or the Trump administration or anybody made a demand to ABC or Disney to have him removed. Carr has completely denied that that she was going to take the FCC threat to revoke any license in any way. And ABC and Disney, they formally came out and said their internal decision was not compelled by any government pressure, and that instead it was a business reputation judgment. Yet the fucking news was slamming it down everyone's throats. There's all these protests. It's like blame Trump for everything. And at the end of the day, he got a little slap on the wrist. He got paid to go take a little vacation. He's right back on the air. What's her name? Rosie O'Donnell? Was it Rosie O'Donnell?
Yeah.
Obama fucking got her off the air. Said the same exact thing, but guess what? Rosie didn't come back. And there was no uproar at all on the media. So I just see it as just like everything's politicized to the X degree, and it riles people up because I'm a First Amendment fucking supporter. Absolutely, the government shouldn't be telling people what to do. And we're going to get into some laws that are passed in California and other states that cross that line completely. But as far as this is concerned, you're on TV saying, hey, government, government, government. What brought you to that decision? Was it the rhetoric, or like, do you really believe they took him off the air
Brandon
because
Carr,
of Trump?
The week prior said, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. I get it. It's just word. But when the president sort of on Truth Social talked about how, he got $19 million from the decision prior to that, and that he can, let's see how much money I can get from this. If you say those things as the president, you're gonna get a response. I'm sure that whether those were legitimate threats or not, that raises red flags for the C-suite at a place like ABC and Disney.
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, they can come back and they can say whatever they want now that public opinion is out.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind that the implication was we can do this the easy way or the hard way, meaning we can either start threatening, like start real like pressure on you through government sources, through our attorneys, or you can, do something on your own right now. I don't think that they said take Jimmy off the air. I think that they just made a implied threat. Disney interpreted it that way, made decisions on their own. And then when public opinion came out and like even Republicans, like even MAGA people were like, fuck this. This is not what I believe in. Then they backed off. And then the government's like, oh, no, we didn't mean a threat. We weren't actually doing that.
Didn't
Blah,
think
blah,
I was
blah.
going to be cheering on Ted Cruz's opinions
Yeah.
on this thing, but that's the case. And you say, well, they didn't really do anything, but Trump and this administration has really tried to push the envelope as far as executive power and what they can wield in office.
Well, and mob boss
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to me, it's weird because Jimmy didn't say anything like offensive in my book. I mean, he was just making a commentary on like what the like social media and news cycle had been post Kirk. And it was like people making all these crazy claims about like trans messages on the bullets, which there weren't, and saying, oh, this was a trans shooter, which it wasn't. This is like right away, like Democrats are murderers, right? The dude grew up in a fucking Mormon MAGA household, which isn't saying that he doesn't have some like liberal beliefs, but like he comes from a white conservative background. And then you got these like crazy guys in Huntington Beach saying like white men fight back, which is like, wait, what? Like, are you fighting back against yourself? I'm so confused. But to me, the whole thing was really bizarre because he was actually, in my opinion, being like not that hard on Trump and MAGA the way he and a lot of other people are super hard on them in ways that do feel unfair at times. And so it was weird to me that this was like the thing they took a
He was just
stand
trying
over.
to he was like trying to point out the hypocrisy of Trump capitalizing on how close of a relationship he had with Charlie Kirk. And then as soon as he gets a question about it, he's like, oh yeah. And also we're building this ballroom at
Ballroom.
the fucking White House.
Yeah, how bad? Like, how are you feeling? It's not great, but check out the ballroom.
If the attention is drawn away from Trump in any way, he's not happy.
But that's just Trump. But if you look at Jimmy Kimmel's joke, the guy just got murdered on live TV in front of his wife and kids. And he says, flag shouldn't be hung at half mast, and a MAGA person did this. Like just
But he didn't say that. He said MAGA's like saying anything they can to make it not seem like a MAGA person,
Yeah.
which was like, actually what I think he should have said is MAGA's doing everything they can to try and make this think that it's like not them, trying to pin it on Democrats, which was definitely what was going
the
on.
shooter,
Here's the thing.
shooter is liberal. He has a trans boyfriend, right? So all this came out after the fact. So he himself probably wasn't trans, but he was in that environment. And there's been a lot of violence related to trans. Like we can go through, I think there's like 8 or 9 instances recently, maybe more. So there's something going on there. Like these people are not happy and they're acting out. And there's a lot of violence that's coming out of it. And I think the narrative should have been like, was that an appropriate joke at that time? That's not cool. Even people on the left, like, his fucking got shot and killed. Like, I was distraught when I saw that. It could have been anybody. Could have been fucking Bernie Sanders. I'd be like, that is horrible. Right in front of his wife and kids. Oh my, this poor guy. And I'd be like, fly the flags at half mast. I'm like, this is not cool. So it just turned into like the government and like his ratings are shit. They're fucking horrible.
Well, thanks to Trump, he's got a little bump for
He
sure.
got a little
Look,
bump because
here's
everyone
here's
has
my
come back.
thought.
Huh?
This fucking guy gets paid $15 million a year. Okay? He has a platform. He has a boss. It's not his fucking company. He has an obligation, from my perspective. Why are we talking about the bigger Trump and this and that? It starts with this guy. He should have been more sensitive to the situation. It was horrific. I don't care what your belief is. You don't show up and make any, from my perspective, freedom of speech. And I'm a freedom of speech believer, First Amendment guy for sure. Lawyer, I get a constitutionalist. I understand that. But this is not, he needs to show some responsibility. It was in bad taste, whether you agree with it or not. Just, understand what, what's going on. It's very sensitive right now. You know, 2 little girls have no father now. A lot of people love the guy, a lot of people hate the guy. It doesn't matter. Understand it starts with him. So that's bad fucking judgment. This is not open mic night at the fucking comedy club. Shut the fuck up, get your $15 million, and just avoid that, or come out and say, you know, we had a tragedy today. I'm not going to talk about that. And then talk about whatever the hell you want to talk about that's funny.
Because he has
That wasn't funny, and he didn't know.
Yeah.
He didn't have any basis to say it was MAGA people trying to paint this or that. They were just presenting stuff out there. Whatever. Even if he did think he has evidence, just shut up.
That was the setup. We haven't watched the joke.
But
the joke is what comes after
no,
that.
but all I'm saying is everyone's filling the airspace on automatically it goes to higher level and car. If it's his legitimate company, he's the boss, you know, and he has his own platform and he's paying for it, he's got his own license. Fine. Say what you
say what
you want to say,
but,
and people can tune it or not. But when you have a captive audience like this on CBS, whatever it is, you have a personal responsibility to the entire, I don't care, Republicans, Democrats, liberals, trans, gays, whatever the fuck you are, you have an obligation to be, what's the right word? To use some judgment. And that was not the right time and the place.
I don't know. I would agree with that.
It's not unfettered. Free speech is just simply not unfettered. You have
That's true. There's a responsibility that comes with it.
I would agree with that if there was some type of like agreed upon, let's say, mourning period. But to like, I don't know, it just feels weird to beat up Jimmy Kimmel because he's making an observation about the way people are acting, but then not have an issue with like Turning Point, like within 48 hours having like merch available to buy based on the Charlie Kirk murder.
He was trying to make a light of it. It's a different context.
He was making light of Trump's reaction to it after it, which is the joke. But like the commentary to me is like
respectful.
It's look, he's like, look, MAGA did this
You
over the
also
weekend.
have
And if you're on
you
like
also have
Twitter
a
all
duty
weekend, that was
as
the
a
case.
comedian, especially with that sort of large of an audience, to address it. To say nothing about it is to avoid.
Also to recognize that you have immediately people were out there saying all over Twitter, thank God Charlie got killed, making all this nasty. He's not stupid. He was probably sitting in the green room looking at all this stuff. He's not an idiot. He's looking at the stuff we're looking at within a half an hour, 10 minutes of his neck being shot to pieces. So you gotta understand the country, it hit hard and it was very divisive, right? People took sides immediately. There's a lot of anger immediately. Do your part. Jimmy Kimmel.
Otherwise,
shut the fuck up.
I looked at it, and the reason I was offended, because I don't get offended. Like Chris Rock go up there and just go off on white people or make fun of my wife in the front row. I don't fucking care. But he did in a time period and in a manner, regardless of timing, in a manner that seemed to make very light of it, to almost make it like, hey, fuck him. He deserved it. Fucking, I'm going to make a joke about
I would have been,
I was like, if that was my fucking brother or something, like, dude, I would fucking say something to
the same thing, Mike. If it was that blatant, like, I fucking don't care that this guy died, but he was more respectful than that. And I saw the worst of humanity on the internet that day, because on my platform, I said, like, this is terrible. I could fundamentally disagree with Charlie Kirk on everything, which I do, except from the fact that I'm a devout Christian and a father. Everything else that man stood for, I am against. And I'm as liberal as they come. But I told people online, I said, if you're celebrating today, you and I are not the same.
Yeah.
Because you still looked at that human being. No one deserves that. We can sit down and adamantly disagree about things, but that's the great part about America. We can have that discourse. We can talk about the things that are different about us without resulting in violence.
Just like Charlie did.
Yeah, just like
he
Charlie
gave everybody
he did
an open mic. He respected them.
He did.
Funny, I never really followed Charlie. It's funny. I'm not using that word wrong. But I mean, it never populated on my feed. I never really watched a lot of his stuff. I've now been going back watching it, and he gave everybody the chance to say, what do you feel? What do you think?
Yeah.
I respect it. I don't agree with you, but he did that.
Right. I did the same thing. I started watching all his stuff, and I'm like, dude, this guy's like a saint walking around spreading the word of God. Right, going into like this snake pit, which is like the indoctrination of our country, And kids are in there. They came at him. They came out there to argue with him, and he sat there and was calm, never disrespectful, never said, get out of here, frag, or nothing crazy. Like, he's just like, it's fine. I just disagree. And he wanted to sit there and just have an open conversation. And the fact that that's what we really need right now, because there's such a great divide in our country, is we need more Charlie Kirks.
There's like 64,000 more chapters opened up since that. There's going to be
We need more
there's
people
gonna be a million
engaging
Charlie
in
Kirks out
dialogue.
there now because of this thing.
Because I believe, and I'm going spiritual, but this is a spiritual divide. This is just getting us to all fight each other. And we are over stuff that, like, I sit in a room, and even if I disagree with somebody on 90% of my issues, I can be best friends with them. It doesn't even matter.
Right,
Because I'm like, that's it. Feel however you want, live however you want. It's cool.
Right.
But unfortunately, it's getting pretty bad where the divide is putting people where they're getting violent, right? I mean, it is what it is. And I'm glad he's back on the air. And if he is going to lose his job, it should be over ratings. And he's just not doing a good job, right? Because he has his audience. I don't watch him because to me, he's not funny.
Aside from live TV, the only thing I watch on live TV is sports. If it wasn't for live sports, I don't know how these networks are even surviving besides streaming. Regular linear television is for like my grandmothers. That's the only people.
I don't know why I have Spectrum still. I'm like confused on the bill. I'm like, Danielle, do we need to see? He's like, it's the local news is on there. I'm like, I don't watch the local news. Like, what are we doing? I'll watch it if you're on it.
Yeah, we had local or regular television until the kids stopped watching Disney Junior, and then that's when she's like, okay, get rid of the cable.
Yeah. But I mean, the First Amendment, well, I mean, maybe Max should talk about this, but the First Amendment, it protects speech, but only from a government standpoint. So it doesn't allow the government to censor speech, but private companies can.
For sure.
It doesn't mean you can go out and say whatever you want. If you threaten someone's life or something, that's just going over the line,
Yeah.
right? It's also freedom of the press, freedom of religion.
Most companies have a social media policy that prevents them from you going and saying anything you want. I lost my job at CVS, or essentially said, shut down my platform. Like, this was 6 or 7 years ago now, but CVS saw that I was talking about working conditions. At that time, I had only 6,000 or 7,000 followers, and they were like, either shut down the page or,
So they did, really?
Yeah. I mean, now I have 145,000 followers. So
On what?
what?
On which platform?
Facebook, where the old people do their social networking. So
Dude, MySpace.
yeah, I'm on MySpace.
That was the best.
But yeah, I do have 145,000 followers on Facebook.
Well, I just saw something yesterday that YouTube has now invited back the thousands of channels that were canceled during COVID because they disagreed with the COVID protocol and the vaccine mandate, and now they're welcome to reapply to reestablish their channel. So you think there's free speech out there? Again, if you're not the boss, Google writes my YouTube checks. I can tell you when I put out videos that certain concepts or content, number one, they won't monetize if it's certain violation, but even if it's monetized, if it's not something that just fits, it just gets, you can tell it just gets killed. It doesn't get out there.
I've been monetized for about 5 years on through Meta. So I get checks every month from Meta.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll put something up that it's just an algorithm that's checking it too. So I made a joke one time that had El Chapo in it, talking about, it's hard because I get flagged a lot of times because it's a comedian that runs a channel that's basically about pharmaceuticals. So anytime they think it's something to do with that, I'm getting a violation. So I really have to watch how I put things out there.
And that's okay. It's a private company. But what happened during the Biden administration is they were paying Facebook and Instagram to give recommendations and kind of like mandates. The government got involved on the platform to say what speech should be censored, what speech should be allowed. They were crossing that line. They actually created an industry, what was it called? There's something of truth, the Bureau of Truth or something. I mean, they literally set it up, hired people and got office space, and they were going to be like
Bureau of Truth.
They
Are
did.
you talking about 1984 now?
No, they really did. They really did. And like, they got so much flack for it. They shut it down, but like, what the fuck were they doing?
I think they were trying to prevent misinformation.
Yeah, I mean, this is an emerging field. I mean, there are going to be lots of mistakes. Like, I think that, like, right now, how you can't say anything bad about Israel is like a mistake. That's like something that is being enforced by the government on basically everyone in America. But like, look, I mean, social media, there are a lot of bad actors in the world, and there's a lot of governments who are basically using bots and real people to foment distrust and misinformation and everything else in America because they benefit from us being in a more chaotic state.
But the First Amendment does not state your freedom of speech from the government unless we don't feel it's true. Doesn't say that. That's misinformation. I'm supposed to be allowed to get up and say the fucking sky is green. It's a green sky, and running around, I'm posting it, and people are like, the fucking sky's green. No one can stop me. They're not supposed to be able to. They're like, hey, that's not fucking true. Cut them off, demonetize them, because the government told me you can't say the sky's green. It's the same fucking thing. And something that is not true today, we learn is true years later. Like the COVID stuff, they already pulled one off the shelf because of the side effects and whatnot. So,
But then that was deemed misinformation. So who's defining the misinformation? That's the problem.
It's in the First Amendment. The government, private companies can, but the government should never do that. And that's what really scared me when the Biden administration came out that they were doing that. They're flooding hundreds of $millions over social media, paying them and sending their guys over there and making sure, helping them spot people. They check that account and they were shutting people down. They took Trump off as a former president. Took him offline.
Yeah.
Platformed him. That's fucked up on either side. You wouldn't want to do it on the other side. You don't fuck, man. That really affects his ability to get votes.
I mean,
right?
look,
It's crazy.
If Obama had, stoked a riot and they charged a government
He told them
building,
not to go. He said, do not go. And that shit was coordinated by the FBI. Okay, bottom fucking line. That was a planned attack that they knew was going to happen. Trump said, get more security, call the National Guard. There's going to be a lot of people that are showing up to this. Fuck, they didn't call anybody, and they wanted that to happen. That is, and they threw Americans in prison for a year and a half. For a year and a half without a trial. Threw them in solitary confinement. Americans. What happened there is a travesty. I'm glad every single person that he got off. There were a few people that walked in the building and broke some stuff. It was fucking peaceful. You had police officers guiding people in. That commission was a joke, and that could be a whole fucking segment we can do later. But that, oh my God, that's classic.
I think you're steering off into some conspiracy theories. I'm glad I got my red hat on.
That's
I'm
not
ready
a conspiracy theory. Where's all the videotapes? Right? Where's all the records that they destroyed? I mean, I can go on and on and on about that one, but like that's just a perfect example of staging and then plugging it to the fucking masses, and everybody eats it up. Yo, God, Trump.
You know, it's hard when people like try to explain what happened.
If there's a revolution, bro, there'll be a revolution.
When you see
Trust
the words
me,
that the
that's not a revolution.
When you see the words that the president said as that was happening, and they're like, "Oh no, but that's not what he meant. He didn't mean like let's go march down to the Capitol building and those kind of things."
He appreciated the protests, but he said, "Go in peace. You know, do not. You know, don't break the law." There are people all over outside. Don't go in the building. They're trying to get you to come in the building, and you had people come in the building. Right? It was a shit show. But anyway, that's it for our 30 minutes. Part 1 of 2, and we'll be back in a few days for part 2.
I want to turn to the FBI. How many FBI agents or confidential informants actively participated in the events of January 6th?
Sir, I'm sure you can appreciate that I can't go into the specifics of sources and methods.
Did any FBI agents or confidential informants actively participate in the events of January 6th? Yes or no?
Sir, I can't answer that.
Did any FBI agents or confidential informants commit crimes of violence on January 6th?
I can't answer that, sir.
Did any FBI agents or FBI informants actively encourage and incite crimes of violence on January 6th?
Sir, I can't answer that.
Ms. Sadburn, who is Ray Epps?
I'm aware of the individual, sir. I don't have the specific background to him.
Well, there are a lot of people who are understandably very concerned about Mr. Epps. On the night of January 5th, 2021, Epps wandered around the crowd that had gathered, and there's video out there of him chanting, "Tomorrow, we need to get into the Capitol, into the Capitol." This was strange behavior, so strange that the crowd began chanting, "Fed, Fed, 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 Fed." Ms. Sandburn, was Ray Epps a Fed?
Sir, I cannot answer that question.
The next day, on January 6th, Mr. Epps is seen whispering to a person, and 5 seconds later, 5 seconds after he's whispering to a person, that same person begins to forcibly tear down the barricades. Did Mr. Epps urge them to tear down the barricades?
Sir, similar to the other answers, I cannot answer that.
Shortly thereafter, the FBI put out a public post seeking information on individuals connected with violent crimes on January 6th. Among those individuals, in the bottom there, is Mr. Epps. The FBI publicly asked for information, offering cash rewards leading to information leading to the arrest. This was posted, and then, sometime later, magically, Mr. Epps disappeared from the public posting. According to public records, Mr. Epps has not been charged with anything. No one's explained why a person videoed urging people to go to the Capitol, a person whose conduct was so suspect the crowd believed he was a Fed, would magically disappear from the list of people the FBI was looking at. Ms. Sandburn, a lot of Americans are concerned that the federal government deliberately encouraged illegal and violent conduct on January 6th. My question to you, and this is not an ordinary law enforcement question, this is a question of public accountability. Did federal agents or those in service of federal agent actively encourage violent and criminal conduct on January 6th?
Not to my knowledge, sir.
Thank you.